We've got flooding, accidents everywhere. At the Anzac Bridge, we just had a breakdown in the left lane citybound. Now, it's just been cleared, but we've got some very slow-moving traffic from Victoria Road, Rozelle, citybound.
13 minutes past 7. Gina Rinehart is one of the world's richest women and has recently made a major purchase of a stake of Fairfax Media, but she's also notoriously private. But it seems, despite her best efforts, certain details of the way the family is organised financially and a big rift between her and her children over those funding arrangements will become public. Jamelle Wells is the ABC court reporter. She was in court last night as crucial decisions in this case were made. She joins us now. Good morning, Jamelle.
Morning, Adam.
Now, there's actually a couple of cases sort of going on. There's been something before the High Court and something before the Supreme Court. Is that right? What's being decided here at the moment?
Look, this matter's been in and out of several courts for a while now. To sum it up, most details of the ongoing feud between Gina Rinehart and 3 of her 4 children over a family trust have been suppressed for some time. Now, on Wednesday, after an urgent hearing in the High Court, suppression on details of the case was extended until March the 9th. But late yesterday, her lawyers went back to the Supreme Court applying for another suppression, so for an extended or permanent suppression, and they said that that was on new grounds, and grounds included security and safety fears for Gina Rinehart and her children and other family members.
So does this decision last night overrule the High Court decision from earlier in the week?
Look, it doesn't, because they're 2 separate applications. The judge last night rejected her application, and he said that he acknowledged that she's a public figure, that there has been a lot of media reporting that could place her at risk, but he said it wasn't any more so than usual. And he mentioned various documents that had been tendered to the court, and he also noted that the 3 children involved in the case against her hadn't sought the order themselves. What
are the sort of things that Ms. Rinehart has been trying to keep suppressed? Is it just absolutely everything to do with the case, or particular aspects of the family's financial arrangements?
Look, it is most of the case, and because there are suppression orders still binding, there are aspects of it we can't reveal. However, yesterday in this new application on new grounds, the court was shown a security report, and that was prepared by an independent security consultant, and it talked about things like the family being at risk from terrorists and various individuals because of the amount of reporting and media attention the case has been getting. And if it were to be fully revealed, that report argued that risk would be even higher. And but in a funny way, it backflipped. The efforts to keep all of this suppressed backflipped because of the judge's decision last night. Various emails between the family members were revealed, and this Plan B by Gina Rinehart's lawyers didn't have the effect that they had hoped that it would. And the emails were between her and various members of her family, and some between her and her daughters, and they revealed aspects about the family's finances.
Yes, and we'll play an excerpt from one of those emails in just a second. It essentially does the discussions essentially centre around how a $3 billion trust for the children and the family is administered?
Well, yes, and we understand that the dispute is over how that trust is administered, and inadvertently the details are coming out about the finances of the family and the relationships between them.
Yeah, so the front page of the Daily Telegraph, for example, labels one of Gina Rinehart's daughters "Poor Little Rich Girl." She sent a series of emails, the text of which was tendered in the court last night. Here's one of our producers reading an excerpt from one of those emails.
I don't have the money to protect myself or my children, and it scares me. I should have enough money to have a bodyguard, housekeeper and cook. Even my friends who have nothing compared to your wealth have more staff.
Now, there are quotes from some of those emails that are being lifted today to paint this person as poor little rich girl, down to her last $60,000, etc. But the legal issues here aren't anything to do with that sort of mockery, are they? What's the exact legal issue that's up here, Jamel?
Well, it's whether or not details of her dispute with three of those family members over the trust can be revealed. And this court case has, as I've said, been in and out of several courts for some time now. And basically the media are applying for the right to be able to report details of it. And Gina Rinehart doesn't want it reported at all. So, as you mentioned, it's been to the High Court. It was in the Supreme Court last night. It will be back in court today it's listed as a directions hearing again today.
And this is separate from legal discussions as to how that trust should be administered and who should get how much money, isn't it?
Yes, there are a couple of issues at stake.
And Ms. Rinehart, Gina Rinehart, has recently made a major play for a chunk of the Fairfax Media organisation. Has the argument been raised in court that if you want to own media, if you want to be a player in media, you have to be subject to the scrutiny of the media?
Well, what the judge noted last night in rejecting this latest application was that she is a high-profile business person, and there has been a lot of reporting on her and her family already. So they are in the media profile. But in this report tendered to the court that was used by her lawyers as part of the argument for security fears, the report included case studies put together by this particular consulting firm, and they included people like the Beckhams and heart surgeon Victor Chang and American TV presenter David Letterman. And this report listed all of them as case studies of people who'd had security threats because of their high profile.
And I guess when you start throwing those names into a court case concerning Australia's richest woman whose wealth is growing at quite an amazing rate, that creates a sort of salacious public interest to know exactly how people run their affairs. And what's Gina Rinehart got to do with the Beckhams and things like this? This is going to continue to get press, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. And one of the lawyers representing the ABC and other media outlets last night described it as a plan B that had gone wrong, if you like. He said it was a plan for Gina Rinehart and her legal team to have a suppression order whenever they want it. And the judge rejected that last night.
Interesting stuff. You've had a busy night. Thank you so much for being available to us this morning, Jamel.
Thanks, Adam.
Jamel Wells, the ABC court reporter there on the trials and tribulations of the Rinehart family. 7:21.
Good morning, this is AM. I'm Tony Eastley. First, the lifting of a suppression order on secret emails sent between Australia's richest person and her daughter has given fresh insight into the fears and soured relations between Gina Rinehart and her family. The billionaire mining magnate late yesterday lost an application for a new suppression order on her family trust court case. In one email, daughter, Hope Welker, pleads with her mother to give her money for a cook, which she estimates will cost $250,000 a year. Other emails reveal bitter family dealings. ABC court reporter Jamel Wells has been following this case. Jamel, good morning. In the High Court this week, Gina Rinehart won the right to keep details of legal action against her by three of her children secret until March, but then late yesterday the Supreme Court ruled against a permanent suppression. So where does this case stand now?
Well, one of the lawyers in court yesterday representing media outlets, including the ABC, described the court action as Gina Rinehart's plan B in her quest to have a suppression order whenever she wants it. And she applied for the new suppression order yesterday on new grounds, and those grounds were fears for her safety, for her security safety, and for the safety of her children and her grandchildren. That High Court order you mentioned, Tony, expires on March the 9th, but yesterday's bid was an attempt to have all reporting of this case suppressed forever.
And what is it that she wants suppressed?
Well, she wants details of a feud with 3 of her 4 children over a family trust kept secret. But yesterday's court ruling in the Supreme Court, a judge rejected an application for this new suppression. So in a way, it backfired because some intimate emails between her and her children were able to be reported from the court proceedings.
And what was in those emails?
Well, there's a range of correspondence that was tendered to the court, and some of the emails, for example, talk about the family's finances. One email talks about the need for a cook, a bodyguard, and a housekeeper for one of her children for their birthday. And in the email, the daughter says, "I would buy them myself, but I'm down to my last $60,000, and you're only paying my husband $1 a year." And further on in an email, a daughter says, "I don't think you understand what it means now that the whole world thinks you're going to be wealthier than Bill Gates. It means we all need bodyguards and very safe homes." So intimate discussions perhaps between members of the Rinehart family online.
I think in the case of the email with the cook, as it was described, I think there was a figure put on the estimated cost of a cook of $250,000 a year. The emails certainly reveal a family battling with the burden of great wealth.
That's right, and tendered to the court yesterday was a private security report, a report put together by a security consultant, and it talked about the fact that the family's high profile and wealth puts them at a heightened security risk, and it outlined particular case studies of other high profile public figures that had been at risk for various reasons, and they are of people, for example, such as David Beckham and his family, and the American television presenter David Letterman, and the Pulver family, and even Australian cardiac surgeon Victor Chang, and they were presented as case studies in a hope to sway the judge to make a decision in Gina Rinehart's favour.
And Jamel, just finally, this bitter billionaire dispute, where does it go from here?
Well, the matter is back in court today for more legal argument.
ABC court reporter Jamel Wells.